So last week, and Bella listened to it, which is great, so we're on the same page. But last week's was kind of like a blip in what we've been learning. We kind of skipped around some chapters. Last week was actually right in the middle of what we're talking about today. So it'll make sense once I get to that point. Last week's is called like a pause in divine judgment. And we're going to talk about like the literal divine judgments today. Like what before last week and after last week. But yes, so remember Revelation is John seeing things. So it's 4 different visions. It's not like one long vision. And we're in the second vision today. So the first one is Jessi had started there. Just going to keep hearing this over and over until we remember it. Is the vision of Jesus, which is beautiful and great. And then the letters to the churches. It's like that's the first vision, pretty neat and tidy. Second vision is like all the stuff that we've been talking about, like the crazy imagery. It's like actually getting into the thick of the tribulation.
What are the different verses? So like chapter 1 to when is the first vision? Or is this in the packet?
I don't think it's in the packet. I have it on paper and I will find that.
Oh.
The second vision, it's like when you think of Revelation, you think of like all those crazy judgments. Those are all in the second vision. All like those like bowls, seals, and trumpets, all that stuff you hear is in this vision we're in right now. It's like the biggest one of all, just for anyway. Yeah. So yes, the first vision. So the second vision we're in right now is all the judgments that are from heaven being poured out into the earth. And those judgments are split up into 3 different cycles of judgment. The first one is the seal judgment cycle. Next one is the trumpet judgment cycle. And then the last one are the bowl judgments. In the book, they look like they go in order like this. So we're going to study them. We're going to start here today. We're going to go into most of the trumpet judgments, and then later we'll get to the bowls. So, just like so you know, for that sake. Yeah. Okay. So today we're going to start with seals. So just a reminder, we talked about in the throne room, you were there, and it talked about how Jesus had a scroll. And do you remember? Forget I asked that. That's a terrible question. Let's go to the Bible instead. I'm not even gonna do it. Go there. Okay, turn to Revelation chapter 5. We're gonna go back to the throne room for a minute. So chapter 5 and 4. 4 opens up with this beautiful image that John has seen in the heavenly throne room of God. He's seated on a throne. There's these different heavenly creatures all worshiping him. And at the end of at the beginning of chapter 5, we're still in this heavenly throne room. When all of a sudden there's a scroll that has 7 seals on it. And it's in this throne room. It's in the hand of God. And this scroll is containing, we'll call it mysteries, judgments. It's mystery because we don't know what's in it yet because it's sealed, right? The 7 different seals. And so John starts weeping and absolutely losing his flipping mind because no one can take this scroll and open it because no one is considered worthy. So John's sitting here crying. One of the heavenly beings who's an elder comes up to him and says, dude, why are you crying? No worries. Look who's coming through the crowd. Through this crowd comes someone who looks like a slain lamb, like their throat's been slit, like they've been killed. This person's alive. This person is the lamb, which is Jesus. So he comes through this crowd, and he comes before God who's on the throne, who has a scroll in his hand. And he reaches out and takes that scroll from the hand of God because he's the only one who's worthy to take this scroll and open it. And why is he the only one who's worthy? Like in all the universe, why is Jesus the only person who's worthy? Just thoughts. Because he's God.
Wait, did you say that he took it from God?
Mm-hmm. Took it from the hand of God.
God's on the throne, right?
God's on the
holding
throne.
the scroll.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's from God. And yeah, so the scroll is like from God.
And Jesus comes in.
Jesus comes and takes it. Yes. So if you look in verse, where'd it go? So lamb. Worthy are you? Here we go. Verse 9. So I'm going to read 9 through 10. This is why Jesus can take the scroll. Just anyone.
9. And they sang a new song with these words: "You are worthy to take the scroll and break its seals and open. For you were slaughtered, and your blood was ransomed. Has ransomed people for God, from every tribe and language, people and nation. And you have taught them to become a kingdom of priests for our God, and they will reign on the earth." Then I looked again, and I heard the voices.
Yeah, that's good. So why is he worthy to open the scroll? Looking at the text.
Because he was slaughtered and his blood ransomed people for God.
Yeah, because anyone else, any other even deity, God or anything, who came to earth willing to die for his own creation on their behalf and come to life. No one else. So Jesus, in chapter 1 of Revelation, it says he alone has the keys to death and Hades because he conquered the grave. He alone died on that cross, was tortured, nailed to the cross, was whipped, died, and 3 days later rose again. So no human can claim that. No other religion figure, human, no one can do that, only him. So, as we're like going through these judgments today, Jesus is going to break open each of these seals, and we're slowly going to get closer and closer to him opening the scroll. So every time he breaks the seal, it's going to release like a judgment or an event, either on the earth or in heaven. Point is, it's going to release like an important event during the tribulation until you get to that 7th seal. And the 7th seal is broken, the scroll can open, right? So Jesus is the one who has authority to open this scroll. So it's important to remember, like, as we're going through these seals, some of them are really scary, and they actually are going to result in a lot of people dying. They're sometimes going to involve evil things, but it's all being allowed under the authority of the one on the throne and the Lamb who has the scroll. Nothing can happen without their consent. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like that's like a hopeful thing, is that it's never out of control. Even though tribulation can look pretty chaotic, it's always under the control of God and the Lamb. Cool. Okay, so let's go to chapter 6. So does someone want to read chapter 6, verse 1 through 8? These are going to be our first 4 seals. We're going to read it out loud.
Sure. I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. When the Lamb opened the 2nd seal, I heard, oh wow, so he's like doing 1, 2, very slow. I heard the second living, I heard the 2nd living creature say, "Come." Then another horse came out, fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. When the Lamb opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hands.
Hold on. Okay.
Then I heard what sounded like a voice coming among the 4 living creatures, saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine.
And then read the verse 8, and then we'll stop.
When the Lamb opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over 1/4 of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts.
So a lot just happened. Like one punch after another for good old Earth.
I didn't know it was like he's just like opening all of them.
They're not gonna be like instant. Actually, I didn't say that because they could be. Never mind, they could be instantaneous. They'll go in kind of in order, but anyway. So these first 4 seals that we just read, and we'll go back, we'll go through them. So this is a group of seals. You'll see why. So why do you think these 4, what do they have in common? Jessi, you kind of done it. There's similarities between these 4 seals. What do you notice?
horses.
There's horses. Yeah, there's horses.
Like a white, fire red, black, and pale.
So colored horses.
Yeah. Riders.
Riders. Anything else you notice?
They are all destructive.
Yes.
Like,
Good observation. Destructive. Destructive in what ways do you think?
in just like death.
Yeah.
in
All
the worst ways.
All the above. All the above. Yeah.
Interesting that it says, like, to him, or its rider was given power, or to him was given a
Mhm.
large sword. So it's like, that show, or like, it proves your point that you said that like the Lord's working all this, and like he's still over it.
Right.
Being
They're
allowed
allowed.
to have.
Yeah. So under the authority of the Lamb, maybe. And we actually see that all throughout Revelation. Actually, most of these judgments we're going to look at today, they usually say that. They'll say given, allowed, or permitted, which is so interesting. That God would like allow like even death or other things to happen. Cool. All right, shall we go back to the beginning? Okay, let's go back to chapter 6. And let's see. Bella, do you want to read 1 through 2? Just that first seal?
As I watched, the Lamb broke the first of the 7 seals on the scroll. Then I heard one of the 4 living beings say with a voice like thunder, "Come." I looked up and saw a white horse standing there. Its rider carried a bow, and a crown was placed on his head. He rode out to win many battles and gain the victory.
So what color is this horse? And what's this rider like?
White.
Hmm?
And he is a conqueror.
Conqueror. So this is our first seal. Enjoy my little picture. All right, so we have a horse, and the rider has a golden crown, or sorry, he's giving a golden crown, and he has a bow. So that language that Jessi said, given, he's given, and crown symbols what? Like authority, power, ruling, royalty. Said Dia. He seems good.
He seems
Yeah,
like
this will be review
Jesus.
for some of you,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's a white horse, and white usually think of purity, righteousness, goodness. So he seems good, but Bella, what did you say all these horses have in common?
Death, destruction,
Death and destruction.
evil.
Yeah.
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
Like, I thought you said like they're loved by the people and stuff first, right? Like they seem appear to be good.
So back when, this is like way back before we started doing our new little method of teaching, when I did with Avi and Bella over the seals, yeah, I had them read it, and I don't even think I told you guys who it was at first. And you guys both were like, wow, this sounds so great. I'm like, surprise, it's the Antichrist. You're like, fuck. And remember how one of the fig tree signs we talked about was believers could be deceived. So they look good. And another thing to compare is this person's coming on a white horse with a crown, conquering. And Jesus, when he comes back in Revelation 21 or 22, he's on a white horse. And it's a crown of diadems around his head. He's coming back with an army to take over the earth as rightful king. So you have this person coming who's copying Christ, and Christ is allowing it. Is that interesting? So this seal, if you want to sum it up, is just like conquering.
The world.
Conquering, maybe.
Conquest.
Conquest. We're gonna say that. Conquest. These markers are terrible. Lord, let them work well. I don't have any of the markers.
Should I go through the other?
We might. Let's keep trying. Conquest. Yes. So what are some, should give you guys a piece of paper. We're gonna summarize. So the writer is given a crown. Right? So again, that crown just symbolizing they're being allowed to have authority and rule over the earth. This is a conqueror. And they're almost like mimicking Christ. So slash like deceiving people possibly. So if you want to like summarize, I'm gonna like put on like summary points in each of these, and, like a word for them. It's like to help keep them in track. So I guess like, I know at first when I told Bella and AV, when I was first studying this I believe like right away, like, oh, this is the Antichrist. And it is the main theory, but it's also like good to know there are like this identity of this writer is actually pretty debated. Because it doesn't explicitly say this is the Antichrist. I think again speaks to the deceptive nature of this person. But all of these, like, you're gonna see the rest of these are horses, right? Riders. They're not all like necessarily gonna be literal horses with someone on them. They might like symbolize that, but they may not be a literal thing. So like the Antichrist probably won't literally come in riding on a white horse with a crown and a bow, right? Yes.
What's the thing? What is the significance of a horse? Like, why are they coming on a horse? Like, not literally,
Yeah.
but like, you know what I mean?
Think back. Okay, so let's think back to the original. We always go back to the original context. So in John, like way back, this is like the 1st century. It's like right after Jesus died. What was their main use of transportation? Horses, walking, donkeys. War was fought. There's cavalry, which were soldiers on horseback. Generals, commanders, heads of armies would always be riding on horses, leading their people. And with Jesus, when he came into Jerusalem, it was on a donkey, right? As a king, the first time. And when he comes back, it will be even more better because he'll come back as rightful king over the whole earth on a horse. So it's just like almost a symbol of prominence, clearly someone in power. Yeah. So like, there's definitely meaning to it, but there's not like crazy. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So like the crown, like the rider is usually more significant than these horses and all of these. The horses matter, but yeah. So that's that guy. But other interpretations wonder, actually other people just don't think this is the Antichrist. But they all agree that this, whatever this like seal is, it's gonna be someone in authority or like a group who's gonna come over. They're gonna be conquests, they're gonna take over whether the world or most of the world, and they're not gonna be good. They'll be destructive. It's like everybody agrees on that. I do think this is the Antichrist, but we don't know for sure. So that is that little guy. Okay, let's go on to the second seal. Someone want to read the second one?
Verse 3.
Mhm.
When the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard this living creature say, "Come." Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. The rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword.
Okay, so we have a red horse.
I like these pictures.
From the worksheet, but I already have them. Yes, this is a red horse. And this one symbolizes war. I actually might.
I'll get one.
Do you mind searching for one? It's probably going to be a bit of a search. Any color, I literally don't care. No, they don't. They just like rotate around the yeah, this is war.
So you said the horses don't really, or like the horse themselves don't really mean that much.
Any imagery in Revelation has meaning, but there's some images that just matter more than others. It's like the writers of these seals tell us more about the judgment itself than the horse does.
Yeah.
It's like we care more about the person riding this horse who has the crown and the bow and is doing the conquering. The horse isn't doing that. The color like kind of plays into it. It's like again, like that white, we think good, period, we think Christ coming back.
Yeah.
And the red one, you think of like war, blood, death. So yeah, it has symbolism, but crazy. So if there's war, that means there is a taking of peace. So this writer in that text says he takes peace, right? Or authority, does it say authority to take peace? Do you have one? No. Gosh, whatever, I have all the colors today. Oh, so much better. Praise God, that's a lot better. Okay, so this one is war because it means that peace has been taken. And it also says, what else is this paper? so that people should slay one another. So like this is humans. This isn't, the writer isn't coming himself and like chopping out people's heads. This is judgment unleashing war throughout the world, people fighting each other. So there's gonna be like lots of deaths too. Fighting. And what is the writer given? So that first writer was given a crown. What is this writer given?
Authority.
Authority. Yes. Authority to take peace. Yes. Take peace. What is that? Yeah, that was pretty self-explanatory. Fighting, death. It's like it's already happening now. It's just gonna get worse.
Do you think it will be, like, is it a real person or could these just be like?
This one, I
Or-
think, if the Antichrist theory is right on this one, then the Antichrist equals the writer. The rest of these do equal literal people,
Okay.
which is why some people argue this is not the Antichrist, because why would he be a person here when the rest aren't actual
Okay.
people?
That makes
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's okay. Like I'm saying I could be wrong.
sense.
Either way, though, like you're right, it's a destructive ruler,
Yeah.
ruling group. So
Yeah.
Okay, third seal. Someone read that one?
When the Lamb broke the third seal, I heard the third living being say, "Come." I looked up and saw a black horse, and its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice from among the four living beings say, "A loaf of wheat, bread, or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. And don't waste the olive oil and wine."
It's been a black horse. It's kind of a lot. This passage could be on for a while. It's actually a lot. So I'm just going to summarize like what this is and I'll break it down. So this seal, so the first one's conquest, second one is war, third one is scarcity. So scarcity means a lack of something. It's hard to find something. So this is, and I'll break it down. It's just like economic scarcity and food scarcity. So looking at, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Verse 5. So Jessi, you asked like scales. Scales was just an old way to measure things. It's like we have like literal, I think like scales today we'll step on to measure our weight. This is like another form of that, but they would put something in this and it would like, you know, dip or go up depending on how much is in the full weight. So why does he have a scale in his hand? Is because that voice that speaks there, so it's saying these prices for different foods. So for grain and barley, that was stuff that people like, that was like their everyday food back then. It's like that was their main thing, was having grain and barley. So when it's saying a quart of wheat for a denarius, you know, whatever, it's saying like a day's wage for like a tiny piece of grain or barley. That's not enough. It's also super expensive. So costs gonna go up for like necessity food, just like everyday food. People can't afford it, and it's also gonna become more scarce. So that's why when it says scarcity, where's my notes? Yeah, so just economic inflation, which is again just like prices going up. And food scarcity. So it's not like an outright famine. I said this last time to you and AV, Bella. Famine means like there's literally no food. There's no food and there's no potential food. There still will be, but it's gonna be really, really hard to find. It'll be scarce. So the voice says more though, it's not talking just about the wheat or the barley or the grain. It's saying, and do not harm the oil and the wine. What the heck does that mean? I asked that same question until I looked at it. So there's two different ideas of what that means. Like, why the heck would they say, don't touch the olive oil and the wine? One group says olive oil and wine were like luxury foods. So their argument is like, well, maybe when this judgment happens, the poor will be like economically oppressed because they can't afford these really nice foods of olive oil and wine, but the rich can, and will take it all. And that's their theory. However, if you look at the context of back then, olive oil was used in everyday food all the time. Back in Jesus' time, it was used for everything. Used for anointing, used in the temples, used for food, used for perfumes, all kinds of stuff. And wine was like your typical drink. Like Jesus, like they had at weddings. Jesus had the wedding of Cana. So it wasn't a
Because it
luxury
was
food.
An abundant resource.
It was an abundant resource, yes. So what this probably means is that everything will be scarce, food will be hard to come by, including like the food staples. Does that make?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's saying don't harm the olive oil and wine. I think another version says like preserve. And she's like, hey, be wise. There's going to be food scarcity. So maybe you should be careful how much of your food and your drink that you're using up. Preserve a portion of food. It's almost like a warning. Yeah. So that was olive oil and wine. So this writer already had, like he wasn't given the scale, but he has it. So they each like have like different things. So conquest, war, scarcity. So far, like war, it's talking about deaths. It doesn't explicitly say that. It's saying like there's fighting. But none of these are like outright judgment. It's gonna like kill a bunch of people, right? Until we get to the fourth seal, and it's gonna get like a little more intense. So I want to read the fourth seal, verse 7, someone? Or read it. When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, come. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. And they were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill with sword, with famine, with pestilence, and by wild beasts of the earth. So this is our last like seal that involves a horse and a rider. And it's obviously got more intense. So I guess you just call this one death. I don't know what else to call it. That's really all it's doing. It's bringing death. So what color is this horse?
Pale.
Pale. Does anyone
Pale
say
green.
pale green? Yes. So some translations say pale, some say pale green. So if you think like this horse is representing death, what is the color of like decay? Color when someone's dead, lack of life, pale green, or just like a pale gray. Yeah. So who is the rider on this horse? Could be two, could be one. There's like two names there.
Oh, death
Hmm?
and the grave.
Rider, death. And grave. Jessi, does yours say something else at all? Mine just says something different.
Rider's named Death, and Hades is following.
So grave or Hades. Both reference the same thing. Just like dying, death. And what are they given authority to do? So that first one, remember, he's given authority, or he's given a crown. Second one was given a sword and authority to take peace. The third one was given a scale. What about this one?
A quarter of, wait.
The verse 8.
Oh, 1/4, yeah, of the earth to kill the sword and famine, disease, and wild animals.
Quarter of the earth. The sword. What was the other one? Sword.
Famine, disease, and wild.
So see how the intensity just got kind of up. So this judgment like was explicitly for the purpose of humans dying. These other ones, like people definitely probably die from these, like if you don't have enough food or there's war. But this one, like that is the goal. Quarter of the earth. Huge amount of people. So I don't know if necessarily like they says given authority over a quarter of the earth. I don't know if that means like literally a quarter. I said I'm changing what I told you in AD a couple weeks ago. It could mean like a literal quarter of the earth dies, or it could be they're given authority over a quarter of the population to maybe kill. Either like their authority covers.
Yeah. And is there any like anything saying what quarter of the earth? Like, is there any commonality? Do you know what I'm saying?
What do you
Or is it just like random people throughout the world?
I don't know. Because we're gonna see like we're gonna get into the trumpet judgments use the amount a third a lot. It's like this one uses a quarter, the other one's uses a third. So I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense if it's just like one particular like area of the world. That wouldn't make sense. I don't know. It could be, but like it says Earth, which is why I'm sure it's probably gonna be entire.
These be Christians?
I don't know. It could be. We're not given a promise that we'll be protected from these particular judgments if we're here. Which is why some people who think, remember, like the tribulation, that 7 years starts with this first seal.
Where would, the 3.5 if mid-rapture? How many judgments would be in for seals?
There is an answer for that. I didn't have time. So I was gonna like come back to it and look at it next week. There definitely is. I know like the two main theories are, so here's the first seal. So we're like, it'll be open in heaven. We're not gonna maybe necessarily know when the tribulation begins. We might if the rapture happens, but otherwise we won't until we're in it. So this first seal, the theory maybe is that those first, like those seals will happen until the midpoint. And then the trumpets will happen, like the next judgment cycle. Another theory is that the 6 seals will happen through most of the 7 years. And then that 7th seal right here, this is gonna unleash actually the trumpet judgment cycle. So like where these have like a specific thing that happens when this one's open, nothing like this happens, it's just unleashing the next judgments. It's like it might, yeah, I don't really know.
Right, I have another question.
Yeah.
Because like culture, when John was alive, it wasn't like a linear like thinking, you know what I mean? Like always, could it be possible that it could be all of these at the same time?
Correct.
Or like out of order?
Yep. So it could be, try to look timeline. Could be literally stacked on top of each other. It could be literally just like one thing and they're all like grouped in together. Once we like get through these and the trumpet one will go right here, you're gonna see that some of them don't make sense if we go in like numerical order.
Yeah.
Like one of them I think is there'll be one over here where like it says, oh, the earth was like, most of the earth was burned up. And then one after it says, wait, but the 144,000 witnesses are sealed before the earth can burn up. It's like, okay, how can the earth burn before you just said it
Or
can't?
classic Western vibes.
Yes. So we're gonna read it. I'm gonna read it to you guys in the order it's in the book, but Bella's right, like it may not be in a literal numeric order. But either way, it's gonna happen. It's in the tribulation. Like that's not up for debate. It will. So yeah. Yeah. Maybe. That like freaks some people out. Like, oh my gosh, does that like ruin our entire interpretation of the book? No. Bella's right. Like that's not how. Yeah, we need to get over Western brains. Not the end of the world. Yeah, okay, so death, student authority. So this is the first group of seals. So this first judgment cycle, it's called the seal judgment cycle. It has 7 seals, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's broken up into 2 groups. This is the first group, the 4 seals, and it has those 4 horsemen. And then this next group is going to be the last 3 seals. So just like for grouping's sake, it'll matter when we get to the trumpets, like why they're groups, but yeah, it's like it makes sense like why these are 4, because they all like obviously have things in common. Okay, let's go to the 5th seal. This one's actually a little different. Someone want to read verse 9 through 11?
When he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they had maintained. They called out in a loud voice, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" Then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the full number of their fellow servants, their brothers and sisters, were killed, just as they had.
Verse. So these people are believers of God who have been killed for their faith and on behalf of Christ. And some people think these are believers through all time, like even from the Old Testament. There are people who died on behalf of like the Lord, like righteous people, and not just like Christians after Jesus. This is like a lot of people. I remember last week I said 13 Christians are killed on average a day. That's just right now. Like that's not even later. That's not even back like when Rome was persecuting or China. That's just like right now. So this is a huge group of people from like all nations, all languages, and they're here in heaven. So where these ones are happening on earth, for whatever reason, this seal is focused on event happening in heaven. So see, like these are judgments, and this one's not really. It's just like an event that's taken place. So not every seal is like a literal judgment, but it's like an important event. What are they crying out for? Like they're asking for something from the Lord. What are they crying out for?
Justice.
Yeah. Who are they calling the Lord to take justice out on? There's like specific people. They're like, Lord.
People who belong to the world.
So they're crying out for God, saying, Lord, people killed us on behalf of you. We died for you. So we're asking you to go out in the earth and take justice upon those who killed us for your sake. They're literally asking God to rain down his judgment upon people on the earth who killed them, on their killers, which I think is really interesting. When I think of like Jesus' passage, yeah, like God's mercy versus justice. So there's definitely intention here. Yeah, God cares about those he chooses, especially when they die. Like, even though it's an honor, God is upset, like as a father and as our God, that someone killed his own child. Like, no father in his right mind is going to sit aside while someone kills their child. That's ridiculous. They're going to get up and go after the person, right? And take vengeance on them. So they're God's servants who are martyred. They want vengeance, cry out for vengeance. And what are they wearing? They're given something. Yep, given white robes. Just symbolizing their purity, belonging in the Lord's household, made pure in Jesus' name. Yeah. And there's one more important thing. So they're saying, God, take revenge out upon those who kill us. But he says, wait and rest. Why? Why can't he take revenge out? Like, why is it not time yet? It says in verse 11.
Until the full number of their fellow servants were killed, just as they had been.
Mm-hmm. So who do you think those missing people are who haven't been killed yet? Just like
Believers in the church.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So people haven't, yeah, they're not ready yet. I think it's really sobering. Like more people have to die yet. Yeah. So there's this language I think is like really important to know is these people, it's almost like how long, O Lord? How long, O Lord, are you going to let wicked run? How long, O Lord, are you going to allow the wicked to trample the righteous? Like you think of the Old Testament, David cries this out all the time in the Psalms. Like, God, how long are you going to let my enemies pursue me and kill me? When are you going to act on your justice? They're crying out, how long? And God will respond eventually. But yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah. She's got to go though. Don't worry. Are you okay to keep going a little bit, Bella? Yeah. Good.
No sense, right?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I'm not gonna withhold it. No.
Withhold the rest of it.
Don't worry. I have it recording right over here.
I know, I was looking around for the laptop.
I know. I moved it. It was weird last week over there. Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you, Regan.
Good luck tonight.
I was really confused when we first read it, to be honest.
That's fair.
Bye.
Bye. And then number 2. Okay, I'll be fully honest. We definitely need to finish these. I think we can run through most of the trumpet ones, but that'll be up to you.
Okay.
So it's just you and me. So you let me know.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Because I think we can be done in 20 minutes. Like 3 minutes. Unless you're like too tired.
Let's see when we get to 7. I'll tell you.
Okay. All right.
Because
Let's go to
definitely,
6.
I want to finish this.
Yes. Okay. Let's go to 6. Wait, do you have any questions with that? Great. Yay. Okay. Seal number 6. Do you want to read verse 15 or 14? Sorry.
And broke the 6th seal, and there was a great earthquake. The sun became as dark as black, wow, and the moon became as red as blood. Then the stars of the sky fell to the earth like green figs falling from a tree shaken by a strong wind. The sky was rolled up like a scroll, and all of the mountains were removed from the earth. That's interesting. Oh, there we go.
Yay. So this one is the undoing of creation. It's so wild. Like I think back to like Genesis.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
God's creating, it's like going backwards. What it is. So what are some of the things that happen? It says like a couple things.
a great earthquake,
Earthquake.
sun,
Yes.
dark as black cloth.
Wow.
Moon is red like blood.
Can you imagine?
Stars fall
Stars fall.
to the earth like green figs falling from a tree shaken up by strong wind. It's so interesting. And the sky was rolled up like a scroll, and all the mountains and islands were moved from their places.
So it's like land, lights, and sky. Or land, yeah.
For the whole earth.
For the whole earth. Bruh. When is the solar eclipse happening? There's like a solar eclipse happening, remember, in like
it's like-
April? I think we talked about last time, like a
Yeah.
partial. Literally is. Wait, the fig tree, so I know. Yeah, the fig tree sign, one of those buds was that the stars would fall, that the celestial lights, the sun and the moon would darken. And earthquakes would happen. Remember those were some of them?
Yeah.
And they're happening.
Yeah, that's so true.
Just much more intense.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. We 15 to 16 here. So verse 15. So we're still in the same seal. Then the kings of the earth and the great ones and the generals and the rich and the powerful and everyone slave and free hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains, calling to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand? So people will wish to die,
Very.
but not only wish to die.
Even like the most wealthy people who have all the resources.
Wait, that's so good, but it won't matter.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to just die. They want to hide from God and from the wrath of the Lamb. They want to hide from his wrath and from God. Like, how can you hide from God? Even if they like actually die, that brings them face to face before the Lord. They're not gonna. Yeah, so I guess people wish to die, which is so sad. It really is. Yeah. Okay, last one. So remember how I said like the 7th seal is going to be opened, but it's not going to be like an event. It's going to unleash the next. So yeah. Okay, let's read the 7th seal. Oh wait, that's right. No, this is the pause. Never mind. Okay, so last week, did you watch the whole video from last week?
I didn't get to finish it.
Okay,
like
that's
the
totally
last 10
fine.
minutes.
So I called it like a divine pause. So it's actually that last week that we studied is right between these 2 seals.
Oh.
So it's a pause.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Yes. So judgment pause.
Because he was waiting for the 144 to like,
Be sealed.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be sealed.
He was protecting them in their witness to the world before like more judgments could take their life or them.
Wait, you might have said this. To be sealed. Is it just protecting?
For this group, so it's 144,000 Messianic believers, right? Ethnically Jewish
Yeah.
people. They're sealed by God to protect them from particular judgments that are gonna happen later. So they're not gonna be affected. So it's like they're sealed as in they belong to the Lord. It marks them as they worship God, not the beast. It's like they don't have the mark of the beast, they have the mark of the Lord. They worship the Lord. Yeah, it's God preserving his like gospel task force to bring
That's
on
so cool.
the harvest.
Yeah.
Force. That's so cool when they're Jewish. Gospel task force. And there's one more group. They're sealed, but there's another group.
Gospel task force.
Gospel task force. Okay, I need to write. Gospel task force sealed. I mean, low key they are.
Major is gospel task force. For real.
Wait, that's so true. Yeah, they're sealed.
Sealed.
They're there. And then there's one more group in that chapter that we talked about, which maybe that's the part you can get to. It's the Jewish group. And there's a group in heaven that the chapter 7, I think, talks about. Yeah, chapter 7. The great multitude. Did you get to that part? Maybe not.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a big group of believers coming out of tribulation, great tribulation.
Oh, yeah.
So that second period, the tribulation, and they're worshiping God in heaven. So it could mean like they're martyred. Either way, it means like they're there. Yeah. So I think like when you said like the timing thing, I wonder if that's again, like it doesn't make sense if these seals were to happen before, like all happened before the midpoint, why would this seal talk about
Yeah.
believers from
Yeah.
this area?
Right.
No, that doesn't make sense.
But maybe it doesn't. Maybe we just.
I know, maybe it's like time in heaven is different. It's this. It's possible it could be that. That's serious. I'm like, it doesn't actually matter, but yeah. Anyway, that's the judgment pause. Okay, now we're ready for 7. We'll stop there. Okay, that's 7. So it actually picks back up in chapter 8.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So it's
Yeah.
like a long break.
Yeah. Yeah. Just read to like verse 5, because this is like prepping for
Okay.
the 7th seal.
Okay. When the Lamb broke the 7th seal on the scroll, there was a silence throughout heaven for about half an hour. I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and they were given 7 trumpets. Then another angel with a gold incense burner came and stood at the altar, and a great amount of incense was given to him to mix with the prayers of God's people as an offering on the gold altar before the throne. The smoke of the incense, mixed with the prayers of God's holy people, ascended up to God from the altar where the angel had poured them out. Then the angel filled the incense burner with fire from the altar and threw it down on the earth. And thunder crashed, lightning flashed, and there was a terrible earthquake. That's crazy.
What part's crazy?
Oh, like that. I just think it's so what? How there was silence throughout heaven for about half
30 minutes. It's that bad and that crazy. In the heavenly court, all those angels are there, the others are chilling, the living creatures chilling, the lamb's chilling, and they just like stand there in silence for 30 minutes. Like, yeah. I don't know if it's like a reference silence. It could be like in awe. Because like, well, think about it. If this is the 7th seal, it's just been open. It says right after it's been open, this silence. It could be like the scroll's actually open now. So it has been open until now.
Oh, wow.
And now we see the scroll.
Okay, that's
So it could be in awe, or it could be like a solemn, yeah. Wait, I don't know what I'm saying. This is a bad metaphor, but it's just what came to mind. Like when you're playing sports and someone
That's what I
gets
was thinking
injured and everybody takes it and they're silent to like get off the field. It's like in honor of them and because it's like somber.
They are gonna
Oh,
be
it could be.
like that's
Actually, yeah, interpretations are kind of all over the place, but they're all like, wait, this is serious. like a moment of silence.
That's intense.
I think it's in awe
Because-
and of like in moment of silence.
Because everything else is like insane.
Yeah, bro, it's
So
gonna get
this
so much worse.
The other one's not. No.
Like not even like death on his horse got it.
Yeah.
Not even like literal creation going berserk got it. Not even the Antichrist got it. But this one gets it.
But then it follows with like talking about God's holiness and stuff. So
Yes. So like I
but
guess
also,
the prep phase, the seventh seal, I guess not really. Yeah, 30 minutes of silence. And then something is thrown to the earth. Golden censer.
incense burner, fire, on the altar.
And what else is in the censer? There's incense in it, and then something else is put.
The smoke of incense, which is the prayers of God's holy people, ascended up to God from the altar.
In the Old Testament, in the temple, priests would have an incense burner. And they would put incense in it and other stuff. And they would, I guess, when you're sacrificing things to the Lord in the temple, they put it on the altar and the smell would waft into the air and God would smell it and be pleased. Aroma. It's pleasing, our prayers are a pleasing aroma to the Lord. And how weird to think that our literal prayers are part of judgment. Like our prayers plus that incense cause an earthquake. That's how powerful they are.
Dang.
That's scary.
Yeah,
I don't know whose prayers will make it in there, but prayers. Anyway. Yeah, so we'll stop there, but yeah, it goes on and you can see like even beyond in verse 6, it says 7 angels then line up and they have trumpets. So this is the beginning of the trumpet judgment cycle. Yeah. If you think the seals were bad, you're gonna probably cry at the trumpets. Oh my God. You're gonna cry. Yeah, forget a fourth.
No.
Forget a fourth of the earth dying. You're gonna be having people dying every single time.
That's the smile.
Anyway, yay, there's the seals. Oh wait, yes, I want to emphasize, like those 4, then there's 3, but you see how like it's broken into 2 and then 1?
Yeah.
It's like this one actually releases the next. Trumpets will be
Wow.
the same exact way.
Oh,
There'll be a group of 4, there'll be a group of 3, it'll be broken into 2, and then that last trumpet one actually releases the next one.
Dude,
Oh,
we need to keep going. Oh.
it's up to you.
Well, I just want to know what happens before
We can
leave
go,
for
like-
summer. You know what I mean?
We end and then we just never come back. Like, we can go as much as you want today.
I'm gonna go on a run, but I'll go in the dark. That's perfect.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we were gonna get there today. I like how big it is. It's literally a big thing. I was like gasping all day today. I was like getting ready. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, we'll do the same exact one.
I'm so excited.
How about this? We'll see.
Sarah just called me.
Oh.
Should I tell her that she should?
This great little chat. Let's try and do the first 3 or 4 set, and we'll see how we feel.
Okay, bro, we're gonna go all night.
Because they go together, you can't not do this.
Night.
I'm just telling you all this stuff. Oh,
I wanna stand up.
oh yeah, wait, that's right. I wrote, I have a break in the middle.
Oh.
And I wasn't gonna do that once you said something.
Well, I'm good with that break. I just don't wanna sit.
Please stand all you
Sit
want.
too much.
Do whatever you want. It's just us. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we, okay. Trumpets. Oh, no, I got that. Just us in here taking over the room. Oh my god. Oh no. Do the two. Please don't do that. Freaking desk. So like university. So Belladin. Not me. Okay, video. We're gonna go on just so you guys know. What are we chatting about? Okay, let me make sure I actually have the bearings. Wow, wait, this is so great. I'm so excited. Okay. Do you want, here, how about you read the first two trumpets? And then I'll read the third and fourth trumpet.
Oh, the first two.
Yeah,
Then
sorry.
the 7 angels with the 7 trumpets prepared to blow the mighty blasts. The first angel blew his trumpet, and hail and fire mixed with blood were thrown down on the earth. 1/3 of the earth was set on fire. 1/3 of the trees were burned, and all the green grass was burned. Then the second angel blew his trumpet, and a great mountain of fire was thrown into the sea. 1/3 of the water in the sea became blood, and 1/3 of all things living in the sea died, and 1/3 of all the ships on the sea were destroyed. Then the third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from the sky, burning like a torch. It fell on 1/3 of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star was bitterness. It made 1/3 of the water bitter, and many people died from drinking the bitter water. The fourth angel blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so a third of their light might be darkened, and a third of the day might be kept from shining, and likewise a third of the night. So, so if we're gonna go back to like over here, how we grouped these first four are focused on creation. It's like these judgments are targeting the land, the sea, sky, stars. So it's not like it's gonna affect humans, but its target is actually the earth. Just so interesting. It's like the judgment would be for humans because we're the ones sitting, but God includes you. This one is called the seal of trumpets.
Or sorry, not seal trumpets, trumpet judgments, or trumpet judgment cycle.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, trumpet. Yep, so every time the trumpet's blown, it unleashes one of these judgments. So the seals that happened when it was opened, these are when they're blown. So interesting. So that first one, maybe being a little white. So that first one is land burned. So what happens? What's that mixture that causes it to be burned?
Hail and fire mixed with blood.
Mix of hail, fire, thrown to the earth. And it causes what? A third of the earth and trees to be burned. And how much of the grass? Oh, green grass burned. Okay, look at our campus. How much green grass and trees we have? Be all gone. Or not even gone, it would be charred, smoking, to the landscape of fire. Steel, fire, and wood. Yep. Okay, next one. The second one. So this first one was focused on land. The second one is focused on the seas. What happens in the second one is the seas turn to what? Blood. Blood. Seas turn to blood. And it says this can happen by a fiery mountain thrown into the sea. You know, like massive it has to be, I think like a meteor. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what that means. But it's something. It says sea.
And that turns it to blood.
Yeah. Which I guess like, you think of this other one. The fire would have burned everything, so why is there also hail and blood in it? Can you imagine if you're a person standing on the earth when that comes down and there's literal hail and blood raining on you? Oh, they can't see it all. Yeah. Sorry, little guy. Probably like, what are they talking about? I feel like they'll find this recording funny. They're all gonna be watching this. Hey, everybody. Okay, anyway, okay, so sees the blood. Fire mountain turns to the sea, and the result is things happen. So the result is a third of the sea turns to blood. What happens to the sea creatures? Look at verse.
Third of the sea creatures die. And
What else?
1/3 of all the ships on the sea were destroyed.
What's your size? I can't believe it. Third sea creatures. Like if they die, oh my gosh, like it would just be blood. Think how thick and like
is
the
that
smell
why?
of iron. Yeah. Wait, that would be why it would kill him because of blood.
Oh,
Wait, what?
no, I'm sorry.
Who let us in here? Just us two for this.
Oh no, okay.
Okay, wait.
Giggles are gone.
The blood of the sea is what caused them to die because nothing can just live in blood.
What I was thinking was that the mountain killed them and that's why
Wait,
there's
actually,
blood.
probably also that. Probably just cowardly forgets about a giant mountain that's very true.
No,
That probably also destroyed things.
they work together. I think yes, absolutely.
Bruh, the picture in my head is so scary. Like when
Me
something dies in
too.
water, its body rises to the surface. Imagine just like the seas and oceans
no,
are thick
like
blood.
whales.
We have to laugh instead of cry. Anyway, so this is focused on like the salt water. It's like this isn't like the stuff. This is like ocean and seas.
Oh yeah.
And ships. Dude, if people are on a ship on the water when this hits,
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Like a
They'll die.
cruise.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. Okay, do you wanna read the next one? Third trumpet?
Yeah. Then the third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from the sky, burning like a torch. It fell on 1/3 of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star was bitterness. It made 1/3 of the water bitter, and many people died from drinking the bitter water.
So what's the judgment? Bitter star.
Yeah.
The Bible also calls it wormwood.
I've heard that before.
So if you hear that word, that's what they're talking about. It was kind of like a root or plant back in biblical times, and people would crush it up and they would use it to help heal sicknesses. But if you had too much of it, it would kill you.
Oh wow.
And it had this bitter taste when you would use it, but it could kill.
What?
So the star that's called wormwood falls on what water?
Yeah.
Third, falls on a third of the rivers and springs of water. So the one before this targeted salt water. Now this one's targeting our fresh drinking water. And the result is what? What happens?
They
Verse 11.
it turns bitter and people die from drinking it.
Third of fresh water sources bitter when people die. So sees land burned, sees the blood. This is bitter fresh water. I wonder if people will actually see this star fall. I wonder if it's literal, like if they would know that they're drinking poisonous water. Or if they would drink it and not know and die.
That's crazy.
I also wonder if believers would be affected by these ones.
Mm,
I don't know.
wow.
It doesn't say.
Because,
What do you think?
well, is it super different than those? Like, because they could go together. So. So they, sorry. So yeah.
Sorry, that was not. You full thought. That was just so yeah. So yeah, what? I mean, wait, okay, let's look at the ones we have so far. Do any of them go together? Death could. Wait, actually, this could.
Death could, scarcity.
Famine could connect to this, maybe. Disease
Yeah.
in general, wild animals. I don't know. I guess disease from the water, maybe.
And like,
Nation, use of blood, bitter fresh water, land. Okay. Number 4. Wait, oh yeah, this one will relate to actually the seals. Gonna read that one.
Then the fourth angel blew his trumpet, and 1/3 of the sun was struck, and 1/3 of the moon, and 1/3 of the stars, and they became dark, and 1/3 of the day was dark, and also 1/3 of the night.
Oh, right. So increased darkness is this one. What seal does this trumpet sound like? You look back over here.
The undoing of creation. The 6th.
The sun and moon, the sun becomes black as cloth, the moon becomes blood red, and stars fall and the sky rolls up. And what happens with this one? The third, the judgment, is a third of our lights. Our light sources are struck. Sun, moon, stars. The result of this, is a third, I guess, increased darkness or decreased light, however you want to say it. When it says like a third, I don't think that literally means like we're gonna see a sun is like this.
Oh,
And I don't think it's gonna be like, yeah, we literally look up and we only see this part. Probably not. Probably like a light switch. Just dimmed.
yeah. And like with the stars too.
Can you imagine looking up and not seeing stars?
Well,
Just like pitch black.
yeah.
That's so scary.
It's horrible. That's really scary.
Increased darkness for a third, so like the night will be darker. If that's even possible.
That's
And our
crazy.
day will be darker. Darkness. Like, yeah, that other seal, 6th seal, says like the sun goes completely dark. This one says a third of it.
Wow.
So even if they are like in order, they could be, or they could be on top of each other. I don't know. Like that one really matches up with the other one.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, those ones are focused on creation or the natural world, and they affect humans like secondary. It's like a secondary product, a result, like a result of them.
Yeah.
Being judged. Those are actually pretty chill. Those are pretty calm compared to the last ones. Yep. How do you feel?
I'm thinking so much like about Genesis.
Whoa, tell me.
Because, well, I don't really have full thoughts in my head yet, but like when Adam and Eve went against God, that kind of like started this. And now, like the undoing of creation, how he intended it, and now it's just like all coming down.
Okay.
But that needs to happen for Jesus to be like fully
One of the signs is again, the lights will go dark.
Right.
Because he's gonna recreate the earth anyways.
Yeah. New earth, new heaven.
Can
Give
you
that to
imagine?
me now, New Jerusalem.
I wanna be there. Can you imagine if you survive the end of the tribulation and you're just like standing there right before he comes back and you're just looking at how the earth would be? Well, wait, yeah, it is reversal Genesis. What was the earth? What was the world like before God created? It was formless and void and dark.
Mhm.
There's an absence of light, life.
And it's just so sad.
I wouldn't want to be here on the earth at that point.
No.
That would just be like heartbreaking.
No.
This is not an appropriate thought. They actually might. That's fine. I'm thinking how much climate change people and earth people would freak out over this in a good way.
Wow.
They think it's
That's
bad
so
now.
true.
You
Yeah.
literally have no idea.
Wait.
They're gonna read Revelation and be like, what the?
Dude, that's so true.
Yep, so that's 4. Then there's 3 more trumpets. Just
Let's open them.
Really?
Let's hear them.
Wait, I forgot trumpets. Yes, the significance of trumpets is they
Oh.
proclaim something.
Oh,
Back in the Old Testament, it was used to proclaim
like announce.
an announcement or like the coming of a king or an announcement. So it's announcing God's judgment. Yes, and if they announce the coming of a king, it's announcing the coming closer of Jesus coming as king. King Jesus.
That's super cool.
Trumpets. I
Wow.
totally forgot to say that.
No, that's so good.
Sorry, video audience.
We got
I'm
it.
probably like, what? I bet Jessi was like, what's the significance of trumpets?
Dude.
Wow. Okay. Wait, let's open. Or not open. Sorry. Blow 5 and 6. Are you reading it?
I'm reading chapter 12.
Whoa. Wait, I'm scared.
I'm
What's
so
12?
excited.
Wait, I'm so excited.
I'm really
I
excited.
really gotta study that
We
one.
need to get there.
We will. Oh, we totally will.
Okay.
I'm not worried. Okay,
Okay.
let's keep going. Oh. Wait, okay, we need to pause. I need to like preface this next one. Yes. Okay, so we have 7, 6. Are you reading? No, that's right. You read. Okay, so these. Okay, so if you thought all of these were bad, these last 3 are so bad that the Lord feels like he needs to give, like, he announces them with the trumpet, but he gives a second announcement from an eagle
Oh my
who's
god.
flying over the earth, and he
Literal
cries out,
eagle.
whoa, 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 to those who are here for the next 3 trumpets.
Dude, mine says terror, terror, terror.
I hate that so much more.
know, me too.
So this 5th trumpet is terror or woe, number 1. It's like
I'm gonna draw an eagle.
like 5 times worse than the other ones. Trumpet 6 is terror or woe, number 2. 7, we're not gonna get this. 7 is terror number 3.
Wow. Oh, terror, terror, terror.
How did I not realize that? Wait, yes.
Right?
The eagle cries out terror 3 times. There's
That's
3
cool.
That makes sense.
Oh.
So God's giving them a double warning. They missed the trumpet somehow. He's giving them another warning.
Whoa. Oh
So these
my
first
God.
4 trumpets target creation. These ones outright target humanity.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This trumpet, will it even be heard in the world, or is it just because the angels?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they would. That's just my thought. That's not an interpretation. Like,
So
why wouldn't
valid.
you? Especially like the eagle one.
Right?
Like the whole purpose of the eagle speaking, it's not for heaven to hear. It's for people on earth to hear. It's like,
That's
why
true,
wouldn't they
because
hear
it's
it?
an announcement.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense if you just need to chill and saying terror, terror, terror. It's not for heaven's inhabitants, it's for the earth's. Okay, let's
That's crazy.
let's read 5. Wait, I'm gonna pull this picture. Okay, do you want to read 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Um, Oh, yeah, okay.
Sorry, yep.
Then the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen to the earth from the sky, and he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. When he opened it, smoke poured out as though from a huge furnace, and the sunlight and air turned dark from the smoke. Then locusts came from the smoke and descended on the earth, and they were given power to sting like scorpions. They were told not to harm the grass or plants or trees, but only the people who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were told not to kill them, but to torture them for 5 months with pain like the pain of a scorpion sting. In those days, people will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them.
Let's pause it there. Okay, so let's pause a minute. So what's happening? Okay, so this trumpet or this judgment are plague of locusts. These are judgment locusts. I call them demonic locusts because we'll read what they look like, and they don't look like a normal little locust that's eating the food in your field.
That's crazy.
What's happening? Let's go back to the text. It's saying a star falls. Is that what it says? Star falls from heaven to earth, and it says he.
Yeah.
So it's saying the star is a he. So in the Bible, and this is one interpretation, it's the main, but it's stars were also known as angels. Like that'd be an interchangeable word. And so when it talks about when Satan fell from heaven, he brought a third of the stars with him, a third of the angels, and they became fallen angels. So this star fell from heaven to earth. It's a fallen angel, it is a demon. He's king over these locusts.
Could it be Satan or just?
It is not Satan. This king, and we'll read on, wait, where'd it go? Literally says. Actually, yeah, let's keep reading on. Read 7 to 12, and it'll say who this king is. Wow.
The locusts looked like horses prepared for battle. They had what looked like gold crowns on their heads, and their faces looked like human faces. They had hair like women's hair and teeth like the teeth of a lion. They wore armor made of iron, and their wings roared like an army of chariots rushing into battle. They had tails that stung like scorpions, and for 5 months they had the power to torment people. Their king is the angel from the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollyon, the destroyer. The first terror is past, but look, 2 more terrors are coming.
Like you said. It's a good thing. Okay, so this plague of locusts, or first of all, sorry, back up. You have this trumpets blown, a star, a fallen angel falls from heaven to earth, and it's a demon, so someone under Satan's rule, and he has a name, and his name is Apollyon, or Abaddon. He's known as the destroyer. And he's king over the bottomless pit, which just think of like a hell, or part of hell. That's like a phrase to say, but he's not Satan. This is not Satan.
Yeah.
Just like and so it says in verse, so actually let's back up. So over here when we're in the seals, remember how we said all these things happening were under God's authority and the Lamb's authority? Like nothing happened without him allowing it. He like gave the sword to the rider, he gave the crown to the other rider, he's giving all these things. So the Apollyon, it says he, receives the key. Yep, he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. Given.
By
Jesus.
Apollyon.
No.
By
He is given the
Jesus.
key to the bottomless pit by Jesus.
I love it.
In Revelation 1, I'm not going to go there, but in Revelation 1, it says that Jesus holds the keys to death and Hades
Yeah.
because he went there.
Yeah.
He died and he conquered death. So he has the keys to death. And so he has the right to give them. And so Apollyon doesn't have this of his own like strength or free will. It's only given to him by the Lamb, which honestly, I think if you're like, it's a weird thing, but if you're like that demon, how humiliating would it be? Like you can't even enact anything without having to go through your sworn enemy and the person you hate.
Dude, that's so true. They have no
power.
power. at all.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
So he opens his pit, and what happens is the smoke comes out of the pit and it says it darkens the earth. And out of the smoke come demonic locusts. And it describes them in the next verses. I actually also have a picture that someone made. You are going to see it.
Oh, so weird. Dude, yeah.
But this is like
that's
a
what it
literal
says.
image. It may not be exact, like when it says like the hair like a woman,
Yeah.
or face like a man, it's not gonna be exactly like it. But it was the only words John could find to describe something he's never seen
Yeah.
before.
That is
So
crazy.
that is that guy.
I love that picture. So scary.
It's about his twins, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so this trumpet itself, the judgment, are these locusts, and what are they doing? They're harming people. What are they doing? It says in verse. It's a long.
First, well, so let's see.
That's 4.
They were
3.
told not to harm grass or plants or trees,
Okay, so
which
can't
is so interesting.
harm land.
Yeah,
And what else?
but only the people who don't have the seal of God on their foreheads.
And who has the seal on their foreheads?
Who has the seal of God?
What did we talk about
That's
last week?
the great crowd, or 444, the witnesses.
The gospel task force.
The gospel task
The Jewish
force.
gospel task force. They alone have God's seal on their foreheads.
So that's crazy.
So at least we know for them, they are safe and they can't be stung by these demonic locusts. Some people wonder if believers,
Right.
like Gentile believers, will also have some kind of a seal of God on their forehead. They could. If that's the case, they would also be saved from
Okay.
these scorpions, but it doesn't specify.
That is
I lean more towards it being just the gospel task force. Because like in Revelation, the only usage of like that seal of God on forehead relates to those 144,000 witnesses.
really.
It doesn't ever like talk about Gentile believers. But I could be wrong. Like in this passage, I could be wrong.
No.
Either way, like they're protected. Can't harm land, you can't harm. Harm unsealed people for 5 months. Torture them.
Yeah, to torture them for 5 months. And then, yeah.
Yep.
So they can't kill anyone?
They can't kill. And actually, it goes on to
So
say,
just for pain?
so verse 6, and in those days, people will seek death and will not find it. They long to die, but death is the truth. It's gonna be, the pain will be so bad from these locusts that they're gonna want to die, but they won't. They can't. So I guess another part of this trumpet is death will flee from people.
Wow.
That's an important one. Because up till now, like death is pretty dang active.
Yeah.
People have been dying, but for whatever reason, this exact judgment, that's not gonna happen.
Look at the sky. It's really
Oh my
pretty.
gosh. It's pretty. It's pink. Wow, thank you, Lord. Wow. Okay, should we do the last terror?
Yeah.
Wait, I forgot
No,
my
we have to do
picture.
2 more.
Oh, locusts.
Right?
Technically 7. I'll just do it by 7. I picked wrong. Okay, I didn't die.
Locusts.
I also didn't want to draw that image.
Yeah.
Demon locust. Okay.
I don't, yeah. We don't
Wait.
want it direct.
I forgot one more point. Oh, this is so important. Okay, when you're looking at some of these judgments, think back to the plagues on Egypt that God allowed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
He allowed a plague of locusts to go out upon Egyptian fields and their fields and destroy their stuff.
Yeah.
So in that judgment, he allowed them, he told them to target the land. In this one, they're targeting people and not land.
Oh, wow. That's
And with
crazy.
the second trumpet sees the blood, what happened to the river Nile?
Yeah.
Turn to blood. Turn to blood.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
actually-
wasn't the sun?
Yes, it also was darkened.
Yeah.
So it happened.
So
It all ties back.
3 out of 5 so far.
I didn't have time to study, but just so you all know. All this in some way can have to relate back to like those plagues and judgment.
Yeah.
Like there's a pattern and you can see it. I just have time.
I think it's so cool how it can all connects. Like God is intentional.
He is unchanging. Yep. Okay. Terror number 2. Bruh, you thought this one was crazy.
Oh no.
Actually, I think it's just crazy.
Oh
Oh, wait, so, okay, this one was terror number 1.
Uh-huh.
Now we're on the second terror.
You're right. This
I'll
one.
read where we at.
13. Verse 13.
Okay. Then I looked and I heard an eagle with a loud voice as it flew directly overhead. Woe, woe, woe to those who dwell on the earth at the blasts of the other trumpets that the 3 angels are about to blow. That's not where we're at.
No, but that's a good. It's not.
That was before. Yep.
You're good.
I'm not the wrong one.
No, that's
First of
so
all-
good to set the scene. We should say that before every.
Wait, we should.
Obviously.
The eagle cries
that
out
was
again.
perfect,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Verse 12, first woe is past. Behold, 2 woes are still to come. Then the 6th angel blew his trumpet, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar before God, saying to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. So the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour, the day, and the month, and the year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. The number of mounted troops was twice 10,000 times 10,000, which is
200
actually
million.
200,000 million.
Oh, wow.
I heard their number. This is how I saw the horses in my vision and those who rode them. They wore breastplates the color of fire and of sapphire and of sulfur, and the heads of the horses, oh my gosh, were like lions' heads, and fire and smoke and sulfur came out of their mouths. By these 3 plagues, 1/3 of mankind was killed, by the fire and smoke and sulfur coming out of their mouths. For the power of the horses is in their mouths and in their tails, for their tails, are like serpents with heads, and by means of them they wound. The rest, actually, we're gonna pause there. Pause it, verse 19. So we got a lot going on here. Let's put up our little thing.
Yeah, we do.
This little soldier looks so calm compared to these ones.
Dude, that's so true.
It's not what they look like. Fast in the slightest. Okay, so what is this one? I call this the Army of Death. Wow, because I think it's pretty fitting. It is a little trouble. Okay, so what's happening? I did not have time to dig into some of this, but I did most of it. So Lord goes to Euphrates River, and it's a literal physical river.
Yeah.
Located, it's like by Egypt. Very important river. And there's angels there. And he releases these 4 angels. And they're released to do, just forgot.
To kill 1/3 of all the people on the earth.
Okay, so 4 angels. Plus an army of 200 million mounted troops, I guess you could call them. Because they're on horses.
Yeah.
Both horse and riders sound pretty terrifying. Dude, if we thought the horses and riders of the seals were scary sounding, they look so nice compared to these ones with heads of lions and serpents. Anyway, okay.
So these angels are like
Demons.
okay. I was like, no way.
I'm pretty sure if I studied it correctly, because they're destructive. It's not that. Yeah, because God's been like, angels have been involved in the rest of these of enacting judgment, but they're never sent out themselves to kill unless, I wonder if it has to do with like the angel of death. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
None of you take what I'm saying seriously. Either way, it's not good. The troops are bad. So I guess the angels would also do that. Anyway, and so they kill 1/3 of mankind. Is that what it says? Humankind?
Yeah.
By 3 things that come out of the horses. It's not even by the angels, it's not even by the troops, but it's by what's coming out of the horse's mouth.
Fire, smoke, and burning sulfur.
These are all toxic. Oh, what a way to die. 3rd. So I guess going back here. Yeah, so 3rd is a common number. third burned over here, third sea blood, third sea creatures, third rivers and springs, third fresh water, third of the sky. Now third of humankind is killed.
My goodness.
Yeah, okay. I do want to go back to one part. So in verse 13, it says, I heard a voice. This is before they blow it and this happens. I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar before God. So this altar, if you go back to chapter 4 or 5, I think, this altar John sees in the heavenly throne room. So it's already there. And we see it earlier, actually, with back over here in the fifth seal, all those martyrs, they were underneath this altar in the heavenly throne room. So now we see the altar again, and it has four horns on it. Why the heck does it have four horns? Back in the Old Testament, back in the temple, there's a literal altar with four horns, like on its corner, like on the corners of it, in the temple courtyard. And that altar would be used in different sacrifice things. I don't think the animals are actually sacrificed in it, but the blood of sacrifices was put on the horns of the altar. So I actually think that related back to that. Anyway, yep. And then, okay, so third of humanity has been killed. And there's one more thing that happens after all of this happens, after literally the ground, the sea, the water, the sky, demonic locusts, and now this. You would think humanity's response would be fear the Lord, or to take him seriously at the very least, but they do not.
It never is.
Gonna read 20 at the end.
But the people who did not die in these plagues still refused to repent of their evil deeds and turn to God. They continued to worship demons and idols made of gold, silver, bronze, stone, and wood, idols that can neither see nor hear nor walk. And they did not repent of their murders or their witchcraft or their sexual immorality or their thefts.
We're stubborn. I mean, Pharaoh, during the plagues on Egypt, he's watching his own people be killed, and his heart was still hard. And he refused to repent to the Lord. Well, it'll be the same way. So, unrepentant humanity, which is so sad. And not even unrepentant, but active wickedness and literally worshiping demons, which I think is crazy considering a second ago, it was literal demons that were unleashing these judgments and literal demonic locusts that were torturing them, but they're worshiping them. Like that's how twisted and messed up our human nature can become. Unrepentant, which means more judgment still has to come. So even though it looks horrible, and yes, like death is happening, and they're still unrepentant, God is still giving them, humanity, more chances to repent of their wickedness and turn to him. Yeah. It's like, yes, the judgments are unleashing God's justice and judgment, but it's also still a merciful call to come back to. Right. But they're not doing it yet. So, okay, that's technically where we have to stop, because so like over here, how the seventh seal wasn't really like an event, but it unleashed the next judgment cycle. This one is going to unleash the whole cycle, judgment cycle.
Oh, okay.
And this is the crazy part.
That's the crazy
This
one.
guy's crazy. But so similar over here, how between the sixth seal and the seventh seal, there was a pause of judgment. There's another pause right here.
Oh, okay.
It's the same pattern. Judgment pause. I think it's in chapter 10. We're not going to look at it today.
Okay.
But
That's crazy.
that one, so that one was focused on God's people. This one's focused on God's prophets. Before 7 happens.
Dude, wow. Thank you so much. That's so good.
Any random thoughts from that?